First you want to kill me, now you want to kiss me. Blow.
Hey, you got 3 seconds worth.
I'm gonna amp this baby up, see how it sounds.
Alright, episode 1, Fakeshemp.net podcast. Thank you for listening. My name is Glenn, and with me is
Jarret.
And we're pretty much just here to shoot the shit and
Yeah.
talk about movies. We've promised this for a little while now, so hopefully we can deliver.
Excellent. I'm up for the challenge.
Excellent. So we've got a whole lot of stuff to talk about. Firstly, what's been happening in the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
And normally this would be where we talk about what's happened since the last episode. So let's backtrack 2 weeks maybe.
You've been busy.
I've been busy. The Melbourne Underground Film Festival was recently, and I attended most of that. Some
You did
amazing
a lot of
films.
movies.
Yeah, you came with me.
I did. I came and saw one movie.
And which movie was that?
But it was an amazing movie.
It
It
was
was
a
Suicide Theory.
Fantastic movie. Yeah, you really liked it?
Oh, it was great. The writing, the performances, cinematography, it was just outstanding.
Absolutely. We both joked that, we held in the biggest pisses while watching that movie, but that's how good the movie was because we couldn't find a beat anywhere in the film that we could leave
Absolutely.
without missing something vital.
That's it. When I'm wearing that old diaper in 10 years' time, I'll remember the Suicide Theory.
Absolutely. Is that doing it any service? Yes.
Yeah, probably, because it'll make me want to watch it again.
Yeah, excellent.
Like, less I know I can go in my pants when I watch it next.
Alright, well, so let's talk about that movie a little bit. That was directed by, what was it? Drew Brown, who's a Queensland director. The movie itself. It's a very it's not a misleading title when you've seen the film, but it's an off-putting title
I
in
don't
some
like
way.
the title.
It's provocative.
I haven't said that to you, but I don't like the title because it explains a portion of the film, but it's really not representative of the...
It's a hard sell.
It is. It makes it sound depressing. It makes it sound like a Japanese horror film about girls that throw themselves in front of trains.
But that's where it surprised me because I was actually expecting something very dark, and I was
thinking depressing.
I thought I'd come out gutted, but it's actually quite uplifting.
Yeah.
And the story itself is about a guy that is suicidal. He can't kill himself no matter what he does, whether it's a bullet through the head or jumping off a roof. He feels cursed, and he hires the services of a hitman who also has his own troubles.
Absolutely.
And it's just a really sort of interconnected story.
It's good. It's clever.
Absolutely, and it looks like $1 million for the small budget they
It was
made.
shot for about $40,000 and a lot of favours they pulled in from friends within the industry, but it looks incredible.
Absolutely, it really surprised me.
And
I'm hoping Drew is destined to go on to something.
Absolutely. After watching this, you can see that he is really a visionary filmmaker.
Yeah.
He's got a good crew working with him, and they were able to take what was an amazing script and really do it justice on screen.
Definitely, and I noticed they've got quite a few festivals coming up elsewhere in the world, so hopefully it really resonates. So another film that I saw was the opening film of the festival, Start Options Exit, which is directed by Chris Mitchell. It's a local Melbourne film. Very, very cool little movie. I did, in my review, liken it to Clerks.
Right.
A lot of the similarities with the characters, I suppose. The way they're irreverent, cynical about the world, pretty much have no regard for anyone else but themselves.
Okay.
So I guess they're representing a certain part of a certain demographic or certain generation.
The morally reprehensible.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
So
my friends.
and they piss upon everything anyway. Yeah. So they start off in a video store making fun of all the titles and move on to the street where they make fun of homeless people.
Okay.
So everything about the movie is morally reprehensible.
No holds barred.
There's not much redeeming qualities in that they don't make any apologies.
Okay.
The only redeeming feature is the fact that it is so amusing.
Right, okay.
And it's sort of it's got a lot to do with computer games, particularly old school Nintendo.
Oh, I like that.
Original NES. And obviously the name of the movie, Start Options Exit, refers to the menu of most games.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of I guess the story is interlaced with a narrative of these two guys as kids playing these games.
Right.
And that kind of just keeps getting littered throughout the film, reminding you the generation they came from.
Terrific.
And the poster art is all Nintendo style.
Cool. Yeah, so the title treatment looks like Street Fighter and games of that era.
Animation throughout the film has these characters.
Animation you mentioned?
Yeah, right. These characters are sort of, going about their hijinks in animated mode. So it's like Double Dragon with these two characters beating on people. And
that's cool. That's original because you haven't seen that marriage of live action and 8-bit animation
That's
together.
That's it. And it was definitely probably the standout film for most people. It won the best film at the festival, and it had 4 screenings, which was more than any other film.
That's a lot.
And I met the filmmakers and the actors, and really, really cool people.
Did you meet Toby Goldsmith?
No, I schmoozed, but she was in the room.
Okay,
I was in her presence.
Yeah.
And she's really hot in the film.
Actually, I think I saw a photo, and Rhona Mitchell was.
She was.
She
wasn't at the screening I was at, but that was cool.
You could have got your copy of Visitors signed.
Yeah, well, we won't go into that one. I wonder what she thinks of that one.
Yeah, but so, it took out a few awards. It took out the best film, but it also Chopper took out best supporting actor.
Which is really weird. Right. His role in the film was very minimal.
Yeah.
One scene.
Okay.
Fairly lengthy scene. Yeah. I'll give him that. And a lot of it was ad-libbed. He didn't stick to script. For example, he was playing around with knives in the scene, intimidating the characters. That was not in the script. He just picked up a big fucking knife and started threatening. Yeah. And it's all on camera, and you can see these guys backing off, and he's just a maniac.
Yeah.
And everyone, has a laugh at Chopper.
Oh, everyone's got a soft spot for him.
He's a weird character, but I guess he's been in a lot of turd movies.
Oh yeah,
and this is a nice one for him to go out on.
Good.
It's a solid quality film. So, and definitely being that it is very offensive, and a lot of people will take exception to it. Perfect for Underground Film Festival.
Terrific.
So, another film I want to talk about, probably my favourite, was a documentary called A Venue for the End of the World.
Okay.
This is a really weird one. It's very original. The concept itself is about the power of crowd control. So one person has an entire crowd in their hands.
Yeah.
And the comparison, or sort of the thesis of the film, is Hitler versus Mick Jagger. So two extreme examples of personalities that could command a massive mob.
Have charisma and
absolutely,
influence.
and it's how you can use that power for positive or for negative. So good or evil.
Yeah.
And the film sort of hops around the world interviewing people that have been in a position to control crowds, and it's just a really, really cool.
Sounds like a really original and unique documentary.
Very. And the filmmakers themselves are husband and wife. The director is Aidan Pruitt, and his producer is Skye Peterson, and they've recently married.
Wow. Okay.
And really, they did a Q&A, and they've got obviously they've got chemistry because they're husband and wife.
Yeah.
But no, they've just come up with a really solid idea that I've never seen anything like. The title itself is what sold me. A Venue for the End of the World is what I went into it. I didn't know anything about it.
That's a title that really does.
I wanted to know more about it. So we're going to get them in on the podcast soon.
Awesome.
They've agreed. They're very excited.
I've got to see the film before we catch up.
Yeah, I reckon. I think you'll really dig it. Anyone out there that hasn't heard of or seen Venue for the End of the World should definitely get out and check it out. Cool. And the closing film for the Underground Film Festival was Chocolate Strawberry Vanilla.
What a film.
Awesome movie. That was actually my pick for favourite film of 2013 because it did screen at Monster Fest last year.
I think that's going to be in my top 10 for 2014. I did see it at Monster Fest last year.
Because it's released this year.
But yeah, I'm giving it, It comes out next month, November. Well, technically almost 2 months, but we're really at the end of September. But yeah, and I'm looking forward to checking out on home end. I really want to see some special features on this.
Definitely. It's a fantastic. It's directed by Stuart Simpson, who also did El Monstro del Mar and Demons Amongst Us.
Yeah.
Stars Glenn Maynard as the mild-mannered ice cream vendor who sort of snaps.
Yeah, Taxi Driver-esque.
Absolutely, and written by Addison Heath, who has another film coming out called Under a Kaleidoscope.
Excellent. And that's due this year? Or?
I don't know if it's screening at Monster Fest. It could be.
Right, okay.
I hope it is, because I'm really desperate to catch it. And a lot of the actors cross over from Chocolate Strawberry Vanilla.
Good.
Don't know a lot about it. There is a trailer, so
cool.
Check it out.
All right, I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. And what else has been happening? I guess with Muff, I got invited onto Triple R.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
With Richard Wollstonecroft?
He actually invited me, so I was pretty chuffed. That means that, the Fakeshemp name's kind of resonating.
Excellent. It's getting out there on the airwaves.
Being noticed. And we were in the studio with the actress, Kristen Condon, director Matthew Victor Pastor, who made Made in Melbourne was another film that he made, and that's a really
things about this one.
Really subversive kind of film. It's really provocative. Hard sell though, because within the first 5 minutes, no distributor is going to look at that and want it. But if you persevere with the film, it's just amazing.
Okay, cool.
And it's all about studying the cultural differences. He's an Asian director, born in Australia, so it's
that's a unique perspective.
The world how he sees it, and half the film's in Melbourne, half of it's in Hong Kong. So.
And is that's available or?
It's not yet, but he's looking to distribute it himself straight from a website.
That's clever. That's the future.
Yeah, do a few free screenings and possibly hock it off there for
Nice.
for a buck or whatever.
Okay, very cool.
Definitely worth looking. He's got a website coming and a blog, so
Right.
we might see his name pop up
Excellent.
on Fakeshemp.
And have you done a review for this film? On
Yeah,
the
Made in
Fakeshemp site?
Melbourne.
You
It's-
did, yeah.
check it out.
That's right.
It's a fairly decent review according to him. He
That's good.
I did praise the film, but I reckon everyone should try and see it if they haven't heard of it.
Well, you've got me interested.
Cool. And then so Glenn Maynard was the other guest in the studio, Triple R. It was
Actor from the Chocolate Strawberry Hill.
absolutely. It was a really bizarre 2-hour spot just to
Wow,
promote Muff.
Right.
But they seemed more intent on asking me about my video store, which
Oh, okay. Well, it's your orbit.
didn't.
What kind of questions they
I
ask?
didn't want to particularly talk about
Yeah.
it, but they asked stupid questions like what rents well.
Right.
what-
What was renting well?
Oh my god! And I just answered something like, just something shit.
That's what happens.
and then
Like Frankenstein.
yes, it is rented.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
No, we won't go into
People
that.
are interested. I don't know.
But but I'm looking at stupid questions like I mentioned it's in Croydon Hills, and the whole emphasis of the interview was I didn't know Croydon had hills. It's
Croydon Hills are alive with the sound of...
living into the stereotype of the zany, DJ.
Right, yeah.
But hey, it was a good opportunity anyway.
Got to remember, I've got to brush up on my zany DJ stuff later.
But it was an opportunity. I mean, that's me and the brand being invited onto the
Great
radio.
opportunity,
So
get out there.
I won't knock back that kind of opportunity.
No, it's great.
I should probably mention that you and I are part of Fakeshemp. There's also a third member,
Yes.
Justine. She's also one of the Cinemaniacs, who are a Melbourne group. They screen retrospectives or cult films.
I think they're doing films set in New York this year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're almost at the end of the year, but yeah.
And I think they got the Sentinel coming up. And
Which was referenced in the film that we're going to talk about tonight.
yes, it was. I noticed that before. And so Justine will pop in every now and then for an episode with us.
Looking
She
forward to
can't
having a
quite
chat
be
with her.
here every time.
Now,
so.
how did you and Justine actually meet?
We met through the American director Jeff Burr, who
Excellent.
directed Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw
Master
Massacre 3.
405.
Yes, he did.
Which are actually just being re-released on DVD locally, I think,
a
this
lot
month.
of his
Yeah.
stuff has been re-released. You've got
Cool.
Pumpkinhead 2 got a Blu-ray release.
That's still coming. They kept pushing it back, but it's coming.
It is coming. He's done new commentaries and
You know,
features.
I've never seen Pumpkinhead 2.
I love
Isn't that weird?
Most people rag on it. I love
I
it.
really want to see it. I always hear about the suit creature, the Pumpkinhead creature, wearing tennis shoes at the bottom. Like in one of
But
the
look,
shots or
is
something.
it blasphemy for me to say that I didn't like Pumpkinhead 1?
No, because I bought it recently. It's going to be in the October update.
Right.
And I've never been a huge fan of the movie. I really like the creature design. I love
I love the
Lance
concept.
Henriksen. Concept. Film's just a bit boring.
Yeah.
But I really want to watch the special
But
features on the Blu-ray.
number 2 is a step
Is
up
money?
in my opinion.
Do you get to see Pumpkinhead more?
Yes, but it's a different take on Pumpkinhead. Like the mythos behind it is a
Cool.
little different. So
I've got to watch
maybe
it.
watch it and then
I
we'll
may as
talk
well
about
buy
it.
it on Blu-ray, mightn't I?
Yeah,
Take a
I
risk
reckon.
with it.
So Jeff Burr, like
Yes.
I interviewed him for the website.
Okay.
He said to me, "Hey, I know someone else that lives in Melbourne.
Right.
Name's Justine, and
Yeah.
I got in touch, and we've been really close friends." And she considers me a cinematic brother,
Right.
and now she's part of Fakeshemp. So
Excellent.
we're going to get her in and talk, and hopefully bring some international flavour to the show
Yeah.
with some guests that we can interview live on Skype.
Very cool.
As soon as I can work out how that works.
Yeah, well, that'll come with time.
Yeah, that's right. And what else? Well, I just want to do a plug for the t-shirts we've got on
Yes.
sale from the website.
Yes.
So just some Fakeshemp.net t-shirts. They're very retro.
The beta one is the one that's taken my eye. I think I'll be picking up one of them
It's
next
got a
week on payday.
Picture of a beta machine, and it
And
says
clever wordplay above.
beta now,
Yeah.
better then, or something like that.
Yeah.
That's my
Clever.
t-shirt. I don't
Right.
know.
Like, he doesn't even know what it says.
No, it's that good.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it's better.
It's beta. This is better than before. But what I want to talk about right now
Yes.
is our YouTube channel.
Ah, yes.
And you have brought something really cool to that.
I have,
Right,
I've
tell
tried.
us about it.
Okay, so what I'm hoping to do every month is just go through all the titles that I've purchased that month, and I do buy a bit of product.
You do.
I do.
You're
all
prolific
over
in
the
your
place.
purchase.
Yeah, I know where all the money goes. Don't tell the wife. She knows.
Yeah. How could she not?
I do showcases where I come home from work and I'll say, so I got this in the mail today, and then I give it a bit of backstory, and that way I think she probably goes, oh, he really likes it, so
She
I
gets
guess
the
that's where the
scoop on
future
the-
house is going.
she gets the scoop on the video collection.
She gets the pre-video collection.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, just go through all the releases, be it local, be it from the UK, the US, whatnot, and just a little bit of, where I got it from, maybe what price I got it from was good, and just a little rundown of the film. And,
well, the first one you did got quite a bit of feedback as far as I didn't know that existed, or where can I find that? So
yeah, no, it was good. It was really positive feedback, and it was great. People were very friendly,
and that's going to be an ongoing feature.
It is. October's. Oh my god! I was thinking the other day, am I going to do this October one on like October 5th? Because
to make it 1 month from 1 month?
No, I think the next one would be due mid-October.
Oh, well.
They're piling up. I've got to put them back in
so long as it's within that month. But I'll tell you what, you know that you're an addict when it comes to buying movies that you don't even like.
No,
I mean, you do mention a couple in there that you buy it and you go, I don't really like it, but I have to have it.
I know, yeah. I know. There's some films I buy because there's something about the film, like the cinematography or something that resonates with me, and it's worthy of owning for that reason alone.
Sure.
And there's others that are pretty much shit, like the one that...
Or you've got to fill out the series or something like that.
Well, there's always collection fillers, yeah. The ones that although I don't own the next... I don't own the next Karate Kid yet, but I will on Blu-ray eventually. But I won't buy the Jackie Chan... Will Smith child.
Yeah, Jaden Smith.
Yeah, not buying that one.
No, really.
Well,
it's not karate, it's kung fu.
It doesn't. It restarts the franchise, so I don't feel the need or compelled to.
Did you like it?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, haven't you?
I like Jackie Chan. Don't get me wrong.
Strangely, it's a good film, but it needed to be. I guess if it had been another title, people would have gone, "Oh, it's just copying the Karate Kid."
Yeah, true.
But it should have been the Kung Fu Kid.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the video collection. That's really cool. I mean,
yes,
you suggested that, and I thought something else we can.
It was a bit risky, and I threw it by you, and you seem to take to it. So yeah, I'm going to continue doing it. I think it's getting a decent few hits at the moment. So hopefully, there's a couple of new subscribers.
Momentum will pick up. So definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel because it's building.
Oh, and I'm actually in the midst of organising some unboxings. Where you get a release before anyone gets it and doing it. We've got one coming up later in October, the Australian release of Babadook on Blu-ray.
Very
doing
cool.
The JB exclusive that we've got. I'll get a copy of that and I'll do a little show of that. And then I'm trying to work with maybe doing an unboxing of the new Evil Dead box set that comes out in November, December. I might be.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah,
nice.
A bit of knowledge, a little bit of trivia too. Is it was going to contain Within the Woods, and it's the first time Within the Woods is going to be released anywhere in the world on it. Someone said something on a message board. Someone contacted Sam Raimi, and now it's not going to be on there.
Damn, I've got a shitty bootleg.
I've got a shitty bootleg too.
Would have been nice.
I would like to have a pristine copy, but sadly, but you'll still get the awesome Dagger, the new Necronomicon, and every other bloody disc under the sun. And there's a new documentary on there too that's never been released on anything else. So I'm really psyched to see that.
Definitely.
We'll talk about that when that's coming out. All right.
Look forward to that one.
Excellent. So check out the YouTube channel, check out the video.
Awesome. Right, we're going to move on now to something that I'm looking forward to. Random trivia. Every week, each of us brings a piece of random trivia. And you're going to go first.
Oh, okay.
What's your random piece of trivia this week?
Okay, mine kind of comes back to the Evil Dead and Fakeshemp. Mine is, you may have noticed a poster in Wes Craven's Hills of Eyes. In the background of the scene in the RV, you'll see a Jaws poster that's torn in half.
Yes.
Well, then that's referenced again in Evil Dead, where Sam Raimi takes Hills of Eyes poster, tears it apart, and it's down in a cellar when Ash is down there, and you see it. And basically, Sam Raimi's statement at the time was, "You thought that was scary? Well, this is scarier." And then that continued on again into Nightmare on Elm Street, Wes Craven's.
They played ping pong.
What's that?
They played ping pong with their little
They went
in-jokes.
back and forth. And you got a scene where Nancy's just trying to stay awake because she don't want Freddy to come and get her. So she's watching Evil Dead on TV but falling asleep, so clearly not scary enough.
Yep.
And then...
my dick's bigger than yours.
Precisely. Sam Raimi came back in the old pissing competition. And, well, actually, not so much. He paid a bit of a homage more than anything else, and that was he had Freddy's glove hanging in the work shed when Ash goes in there. So it's that kind of just intertextual kind of reference back and forth, and I imagine a lot of people know it, but if they didn't, now they do.
Well, that's it. Like, people who don't know that, that's something very cool.
I think it's cool. I grew up with that, watching it as a kid, and there was no internet, and there was no book that you could consult to find that cool shit out. So you'd find out, and you'd want to tell kids at school, but no one at school had seen the films you had seen. You'd tell your parents, and they'd be like, yeah... I think they try to be enthused. They're like, should we be letting him watch these movies?
Yes. Look, I want, just while we're on that subject,
yeah.
What did you think of Evil Dead Redo?
Look, I went and this film, right? I was so scared that it wasn't going to open theatrically in Australia. I was in Queensland at the time, and I booked tickets to the Gold Coast Film Festival. We drove up to the Gold Coast Film Festival, spent an hour driving up, got to the cinema, was so psyched for this movie, watched this movie, and I was happy if it was going to be different and it was going to be a more serious approach.
Sure.
But no, look, I had no empathy for any of the characters.
Wow.
I couldn't relate to them. I didn't hate them enough that I wanted to see them die. I didn't like them enough that I felt sorry that they were dying. And I think the film was too heavily reliant on gore to make up for everything else that was lacking.
I'm going to counteract that with I fucking loved it.
Really?
I loved it. And
really?
I saw it as a sequel and not a remake. Because it takes place in the same universe. Yep. You get there and the Oldsmobile's out the front.
I like that.
There are suggestions that Ash had already been there with the blood markings on the floor and the trapdoor. Yep. And I saw it as this is what happens 20 years later or 30 years later. And I reckon they're going to work that into the next couple of sequels.
Well, there's that talk that they might,
So I loved it. And I loved the gore. I thought the gore was pushed to an extent that it was so gratuitous. It was so it became funny.
Ridiculous that it was. But I didn't find it funny at all. I just was... I watched it again on Blu-ray thinking... Because quite a few people enjoyed it. So I was thinking I missed something. Watched it on Blu-ray. And I was just... I didn't enjoy it. But I'll keep it in the collection.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's right.
I didn't hate it. I just didn't really like it.
So, how about we go on to my random piece of trivia?
Yes.
This is just very obscure.
Okay.
High School Musical, the Disney film, Zac Efron.
Yes, and Selena Gomez, was she?
Oh, dude, you know too much.
Was she in that?
You know too much.
She wasn't. She's pretty. She's pretty now. Then I didn't see her then. No, that would have been.
My piece of trivia is that film was born from the ashes of a Grease 3 script.
Wow.
They'd originally written the script with Danny and Sandy's children.
Yeah.
And it never got off the ground, obviously, because Grease 2.
Yes. Yeah, cool, right.
Because Grease 2, as awesome as Grease 2 is.
Yes, it's a cult favourite.
Yeah, so it was tweaked and rewritten as High School Musical.
Would have been weird to do a Grease 3 so long. What was the
Particularly with a
Grease
different...
2 was enough years between the first and the second, but the Grease 3, like what?
And it would have been like modern pop music, you know.
Yeah, too weird.
But that's where it came from. So
that's unusual, yeah.
And
definitely. They made 3 of those films, the High School Musical. They made 3 of them.
And spin-offs.
And spin-offs. Amazing.
But
Zac Efron, he's turned out alright. He's actually pretty good.
He is fantastic.
He's funny. Like in comedies, I didn't like Bad Neighbours, so it was rubbish. But I thought he was very funny.
Alright, on to the next subject.
Whoops.
We're already locking horns.
It's Margaret and David.
We're locking horns. Alright, let's talk about our movie of the week. And let's explain this every single podcast we do. We're going to watch a movie first, which we have already done. And we're going to talk about it. So this week we're doing The Burbs.
The Burbs.
Quiet vacation at home.
This is what I need, Carol. I need this.
Welcome to Mayfield Place. A typical street in the Burbs.
Morning, Walter.
Where nothing much ever happened.
Walter's dog just took a dump on Rumsfeld's lawn again.
Until the Klopeks moved in.
Klopex? Klopex.
Klopek. No one goes in, no one comes out.
Neighbors from hell.
It was a nice place to live.
He said he thinks the Klopeks are evil incarnate.
Well, you're much too smart to fall for that, aren't you, honey?
But now...
Carol!
You wouldn't want to visit there.
Ray, this is Walter.
The Burbs.
I'm going over the fence, and I'm not coming back till I find a dead body.
Ray, do you want him to take your family, kidnap them, tear their livers out, and make some kind of satanic pate? We found Walter!
We got a real problem.
I hit the gas line, I'd run!
God, I love this street.
Tom Hanks.
I think we are overreacting.
No. The Burbs. It's one hell of a neighborhood.
Hey, honey, I think we should move.
Joe Dante's The Burbs.
The Burbs.
Thank you for bringing that to us. That's an amazing film.
It is a classic.
And we should mention we watched that on Blu-ray tonight.
We did, and a stunning transfer.
Beautiful
for a
transfer.
Film. I mean, it's grainy, but that's the way it was shot, the film style.
Well, tell us about, everyone knows about The Burbs, but tell us about The Burbs and what The Burbs means to you.
Okay, so I'll give you just a general synopsis of the film. Basically about your pesky next-door neighbours, you know. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty quiet in my street and I don't talk to my neighbours and that, so they'd probably see me as the Klopeks, which is the characters in the film that are the aliens in the neighbourhood.
Sure.
And basically Tom Hanks and Bruce Dern and an ensemble of neighbours, they all form together to sort of find out what's going on in that house. They're not seeing cars come and go.
And it's sinister.
It's quite sinister. They're hearing strange noises at night. And yeah, basically they pack together to try and find out what is going on. And look, It's a black comedy.
It is definitely a black comedy.
It's very dark.
Almost horror comedy.
Absolutely. It's got tinges of horror about it. It's very much Joe Dante's love letter to, the 50s kind of, universal horror movies.
And in many ways, a satirical sort of social commentary on modern America and suburban America.
Yeah.
And I love this film.
I think it's just, it is a terrific film. It's just everything about it. The Jerry Goldsmith score, the cinematography, the use of colour. It's very comic book and bright. And you mentioned you picked up when we were watching it.
Yeah, something I never really picked up on. Probably wasn't paying attention, but there's this really strange glow of green that keeps appearing in the film. So it could be in the garage, or it could be through a window, or in the basement. But this weird glow of green,
and generally around the Klopek's house.
Always around the Klopek's house, and it's never explained. It's just an aesthetic texture.
It's a nice little touch.
It is, and it's
maybe I've never noticed because the transfer's never been that great.
The Blu-ray really made it stand out, and it definitely such a great aesthetic,
Oh yeah, terrific.
And tell us about where it was filmed.
It was shot. It was all shot entirely on the Universal Studios backlot in California, and it was shot on Mockingbird Lane, which is known from the Monsters TV series. Another amazing TV series that was shot there. I don't care what people think. Desperate Housewives, their whole entire 8 seasons that was shot there.
We got a closet family. You're out of the closet with that one.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
And it's Leave It to Beaver was shot there. There's so much stuff that was shot, and it's still a practical set.
And you can notice
one of the houses remains on set.
Wow.
On there. They haven't changed one of the houses.
Oh wow.
It's Bruce Dern's house from memory.
Yes.
From memory.
And you can notice in one scene where you get a sort of an aerial shot of a house, and there's sort of a mound, a hill behind the house.
Yeah.
Over that hill's the Psycho house.
Yes, which apparently caused a bit of concern because when they'd be doing the tour tram through, which took precedence over everything at the studio at the time, you would hear the screams of Norman Bates coming out from the motel and the people on the tram screaming.
As part of the tourist attraction.
And you would hear in the background, so they would have to cut. And apparently Joe Dante reckons that you can still faintly hear screaming in certain scenes.
Maybe we'll have to rewatch it up loud.
Yeah, I know. I think,
headphones.
Totally. Great film. There's not much more I can say about it. It was shot during a writer's strike, so they hired one of the writer they hired as an actor to work on the film, so they could have him come in and consult the actors if they needed, or do some rewrites on the spot. And they did rewrite the ending because initially, I don't know, I'm assuming that you've all seen it, but initially Tom Hanks' character supposed to die in the film. Well, as soon as they cast Tom Hanks, the studio said, you can't kill Tom Hanks. America loves Tom Hanks. So they had to rewrite the
And we should mention that he was in the prime of his comical kind of...
He just came off the back of Big, and he'd been nominated for an Academy Award for Big too.
Sure.
So this was amidst all those comedies.
He'd already done The Money Pit and...
Yeah, he had, Dragnet, and he was... Tuna and Hooch was being released that year, and he'd go on to do Joe vs. the Volcano the following year.
So definitely, and he went. That was such a transition after that. He went to serious, and he's never come back. He's never come back to this brand of comedy, and I think he needs to.
Oh, I'd love to see him do comedy like this again. It's not enough seeing him or hearing him do the voice of Woody from the Toy Story movies. We want to see that physical comedy because he is a master.
And even his performance in The Polar Express is very comical, and the voice is the voice from the 80s that we know.
Classic Tom Hanks.
Absolutely.
I mean, he just wasn't funny enough in Cloud Atlas. Maybe that's just me.
That's true.
So, we're actually going to have a competition for the BURBS.
Excellent.
You can win one of 2 copies of the BURBS, which we've got kindly from Umbrella. They're releasing it next week, October 1st. It'll be available everywhere, but we've got 2 copies.
Brand new Blu-ray.
Brand new sealed and ready to go to 2 lucky listeners.
Fantastic. So you have to be listening, which you obviously are right now, and we are going to throw a question at you.
We are.
And if you can answer that on Facebook, 2 people that answer will win a copy.
We'll win a copy.
Absolutely. All right.
And do they have to be within Australia, sir? Or are you sending these? Well, you probably, because it's locked to region
So
B.
long as they've got a region-free player.
Well, that's true, yeah, because there might be some American listeners. It hasn't been released in America yet.
Okay, well, so long as they know that it is...
Yes, it is locked to region B.
Okay, so what question can we throw at them?
Well, being a Joe Dante film, I think we'd like to know from listeners what actor appears in every Joe Dante film up until the Hole, which was his last film.
Sure.
But bearing the X, we don't know if this actor's in this movie or not. So, what actor appears in every Joe Dante film? Okay,
and if you can answer that on our Facebook page, you win a brand new copy of the BURBS.
Beautiful.
And it's such a gorgeous transfer.
It's beautiful.
Cool, so we're going to move on now to our Guilty Pleasure segment. Each podcast we bring a new Guilty Pleasure film, which I have trouble with the term Guilty Pleasure because there is no guilty pleasure. If I like a film, I like it. I'm not ashamed.
I got no shame when it comes to cinema.
Exactly. So, all right. So, what's your guilty pleasure?
Okay. Well, I don't want to dwell on it for too long. So what I'm going to do is give you just a little bit of a brief outline about it and one tiny bit of trivia. And the rest I'm going to put into an article and we're going to put it up on the Fakeshemp
I've been waiting
page.
all week to find out what your guilty pleasure is.
I didn't even know what it was till this morning. It was a bit of a change of heart at the last minute and I opted with Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Oh my god.
Yes, Weekend at Bernie's 2 was released theatrically both in the US and Australia in 1993. 4 years after the first film.
4 years.
4 years
That's
they waited to make a sequel.
Film. That's a smelly film.
Absolutely. Though, interestingly, at the end titles of the film, it's copyrighted as 1992. So either the studio, which was TriStar, they sat on the picture thinking they had something big for the summer of 93, or they knew it was a turd, held it in for as long as they could, and eventually it just dropped out. And it actually opened the same day in the US as In the Line of Fire, the Clint Eastwood film.
Yeah, well,
which was from...
Stiff competition.
I know, well, it's weird. That opened... 2 films from essentially the same studio on the same day. I don't know what they were expecting. But anyway, that's when it opened. So this is a little bit of a story of Weekend at Bernie's 2. Set literally a day or two after the events in the first film, we open with Richard, played by Jonathan Silverman, and Larry, by 80s heartthrob Andrew McCarthy, having to identify Bernie Lomax's body at the New York City Mall. Shortly after, the pair are dismissed from their jobs at an accountancy firm they had uncovered Bernie's embezzling racket at. They're suspected basically being involved in that. So they're dismissed with 2 weeks severance pay, and Larry's quick to take personal retribution by using Bernie's credit card.
This sounds like an important film.
It is a brilliant film. And he's using the credit card for lavish dinners and gifts. It's not long before, after that he wants to up the ante and basically wants to do something bigger. And he knows that Bernie's got some couple million tied up in overseas investments and offshore accounts. So trouble is, they're not the only ones after Bernie's money.
Of course not.
No, everyone wants a piece of that.
Everyone's a piece of Bernie.
Yeah, exactly. There's 2 New York City goons that have been hired, and they have strict instructions and a curse placed upon them by a voodoo princess.
Of course.
Or priestess.
Hang on, what's the name of the guy that plays Bernie?
Terry Kistner, I think is his
And would you
name.
say that's the floppiest performance you've ever seen?
Amazing. The guy is, what's the word for it? Agile.
Limber.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a gymnast. I only don't want to see this one naked. So yeah, these 2 guys are hired by this, voodoo priestess to do, track down the money also. They seem to have a little bit more luck. They resurrect Bernie through a botched voodoo ritual.
Of course they do.
As they do. But they lose him in the subways in New York.
Duh.
And it isn't long before Richard and Larry gain control of Bernie, pack him in a suitcase, take him to the United States Virgin Islands to track down the money. Now, as if 2 cursed thugs aren't enough to foil the plans for our boys and their corpse, throw in Barry Bostwick's character, Anthony
the boss.
Yes, a hard-nosed internal investigator, and he's convinced the pair in cahoots with Bernie. He'll stop at nothing to get his men.
You know what? This is a lot of investigating.
It is.
You've got a lot of information on the Weekend at Bernie's
the rest is cinematic history. It's better viewed than summarised.
This deserves something more.
I'm going to be doing an article because there's a lot more I've got to say about this film.
You love Weekend at Bernie's 2.
I don't. I love Weekend at Bernie's, and Weekend at Bernie's 2 is a guilty pleasure.
You love the fact it exists.
It needs to exist because I wanted to know what were these guys up to after. What did they do? And look, they made a whole movie about it, which they really shouldn't have. But it's there, it exists.
You need to write this.
It's going to be an article.
You're born to write
There's
this.
so much trivia that you will never read on the internet other than on Fakeshemp.
It's exclusive. It's exclusive.
No one's talking about this movie. So, yeah, that's my guilty pleasure. What was yours?
Okay, well, I'm going to keep mine really short. Okay, because I don't know a lot about this film.
Okay.
Right? I know I watched it recently. I saw it years ago, didn't think anything of it. But
So you've seen the film twice?
I have seen the film twice. And
do you own the film?
Yes, I own all of the films, and I will remind people that I have children.
Okay, well,
that's why I own them. That's why I fix up to own it. Air Bud.
Right.
Disney film about a dog that plays basketball.
Yes.
That's pretty much all I need to say. I was watching this recently because, 2 in the morning, you're looking for something obscure, something random.
Yes.
Fuck it, Air Bud.
Yeah.
I put it on.
That's a go-to movie.
Got about 10 minutes into it. What? I really like this
Animal
movie.
sports movies.
I like this movie. I don't know why. But it was directed by Charles Martin Smith, who's an accomplished actor. He was in the Disney film Never Cry Wolf, and he was in The Untouchables.
Ooh.
Also directed Dolphin Tale. Another family film with Morgan Freeman.
It's
quite good. It's Free Willy.
He likes working with animals.
It's just like Free Willy, and he's got part 2 of that coming up.
Right.
So Air Buds is one of those films that I'm not actually ashamed to admit I like.
Okay.
I haven't really persevered with the series.
No.
I haven't gone on to the Air Buddies,
Right.
Snow Buddies, all
Okay.
those. But yeah, Air Bud. It's good.
Air Bud, right?
I'm not even going to call it guilty pleasure, damn it.
I'm going to wait for that to turn up on TV, midday on a Saturday and watch the shit out
You know,
of
we
it.
could watch that tonight.
That would be terrifying. I would have nightmares.
All right, well, from our guilty pleasures, let's move on to obscure films.
Right.
We each bring an obscure film to the conversation.
Okay.
So I'll start this one off.
Okay.
We were talking earlier, before we started recording, about Kevin Smith and the Esk Universe and all the films he's done. One of the random films that people don't know he's involved with is called Volga,
Yeah.
which it's a film. It's a rape revenge film,
Oh, God.
and it's about a clown
Ooh.
that gets raped
Oh.
and seeks revenge.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it stars Brian O'Hallahan, who was Dante from Clerks.
Yes.
Produced by Kevin
And Gil.
And Gil.
Like Mallrats.
Yes.
Did he come or what?
Well, he plays the clown, and
Right.
I actually consider this film, although it's not, I consider it the sequel to Clerks because
Okay.
it could be Dante
Yeah.
where he goes from.
Sounds
Clerks.
dark, though.
It's
Sounds
very,
very dark.
It's very dark.
Yeah.
It tries to be comical, but it's so seedy and dark that
Oh, yeah.
that it's
It's a
really it
fine
leaves a real
line.
bad taste in
Oh,
mouth.
God, yeah.
Kevin Smith plays a gay TV executive in it.
Oh, as he would.
Yeah.
That's I've seen him play some unusual roles, but that takes the cake.
Yeah, and it was directed by Brian Johnson, who's one of his
Right.
long-time collaborators.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he has done the Smodcast with Kevin
Yeah,
Smith and
yeah.
whatnot. So anyway, that's my obscure film. If you haven't seen
That is
Volga,
obscure.
can't get it in Australia, but look for it online. Great cover art.
I've got to see it.
Definitely. Well, what's
I
yours?
can't believe I haven't seen it. Okay, I'm going to have to touch briefly on this also, so I think I'm going to write an article about this.
Oh my goodness.
I've done too much research once again. The film's called Novocaine.
Novocaine.
Novocaine, great film.
I do love this one.
Great movie.
Steve Martin, yeah?
Steve Martin, indeed. Alright, so I'll give you a brief synopsis of the movie. Frank's, played by Steve Martin, is a well-to-do guy with a successful dentistry practice, his own home, flash car, an adoring girlfriend, played by Laura Dern, and a suburban lifestyle that most would envy. However, all of that goes topsy-turvy the moment he meets Susan, Helena Bonham Carter. As soon as she enters the surgery, things will basically go topsy-turvy. She's the polar opposite of Frank's girlfriend in every imaginable way, from her unkempt appearance to her devil-may-care attitude, and the possibility she may very well be a junkie. A suspicion that's soon confirmed when she adjusts a prescription given to her by Frank from 5 to 50 doses of Demerol. Now this is where Frank, a seemingly moral, upright kind of guy, should report her to the authorities. However, this critical turning point for his character, he lets it slide, and in favour of a rendezvous with her the following morning at a scheduled root canal. Now, I don't want to say too much about the film, but basically Frank's world is out of control, things escalate fast, and it turns into a real dark, funny crime
It's a
caper.
really subversive kind of film too. I remember when it
Absolutely.
came out, it didn't play at the multiplexes.
No,
the
no.
art house cinemas
Yep.
screened it, and it came at a time when Steve Martin was making
Yeah.
really daring.
Yeah, he did the
unconventional-
David Mamet film, Spanish Prisoner.
That's
Yeah.
right. And he had Shot Girl came not too long after,
No.
it, but he was experimenting outside of what we knew
Yeah.
him for. And yeah, Novocaine's a fantastic.
Terrific film. Now, I won't say too much. It does have a very film noir feel about it, or a neo-film noir. But I just wanted to mention the writer-director David Atkins. It's his sole feature film directing credit. He'd written one independent feature prior to this that I only heard about having read his IMDb profile. But since having written and directed Novocaine, he's only written, produced and directed a 5-episode series 9 years after the film, and that's seemingly loosely based on his life as a filmmaker, where French Stewart from
French
Rocket
Stewart,
Stewart.
Inspector Gadget 2. Inspector Gadget 2. Or Home Alone 4.
Oh, another film called Glory Days, if anyone's seen that.
Yes.
Also known as Last Call. Great film.
You're getting into quality stuff here.
Yeah, it's great. And anyway, he
Yeah.
plays him in that. And anyway, I'm going to put an article together because look, the film is great, and I think it's not so
Underrated.
obscure, but completely underrated and forgotten about.
I think it's obscure.
Yeah.
Like, in general terms,
yeah, it
it's
seems
obscure.
pretty obscure. It's out of print on DVD here, so you might have some difficulty finding it. But if you
brilliant.
can track it down, do it, because it really
Cool.
is.
Well, we'll look
great
forward
film.
to your article. That'd be cool.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, well, let's move on to. We put out a question on Facebook. Just asked people to give us a topic to talk about. So we'll briefly touch on this. I picked one from Stephen Bonham. Asked us to discuss download versus hard copy. So
Yes.
films, obviously watch online, stream, download,
Right, yeah.
or purchase a physical copy.
Right, yeah.
What about you? I'm partial to a physical copy. As you can see,
yeah.
where we are right now,
Yeah, wow.
we are surrounded by physical copies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thousands of them.
I mean, you just watch that YouTube update and you'll see I'm all about the physical media.
Absolutely. So I guess that is
Yeah.
pretty much our response.
my
But that's
take.
not to
I
say...
think digital has its place.
Yeah.
But I really like this concept of ultraviolet. I like
Yep.
the fact you can buy a physical copy and get an
Make it
ultraviolet
digital.
copy.
Yep.
Yeah, and then that's good because I recently was interstate in Sydney, and I put a couple ultraviolet films on my tablet, and they were films that I probably wouldn't have got to straight away, like Cuban Fury.
Yep.
And I'm watching it, and it wasn't so
I just
bad.
wish they wouldn't plaster all
Yeah.
over the packaging.
Yeah, the trim,
The
at the
stickers
top
all
and
that's needed.
Stickers,
Yeah.
and sometimes they're not even bloody stickers. They print the sticker on the
Actual sleeve. It's
Looks shit.
terrible. So,
Shit.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, and look, we discovered a website this week called Viewlorium, which
Yes.
stream a whole lot of really obscure
Yeah.
films. I watched The Time Guardian the other week.
It's
or
got
the other
Dario
day.
Argento's,
The
Dario
Church.
Argento presents
The Church, which is
written
what
by Michael
Demoni
Calasolli.
3
Yeah.
in some
Yeah,
in some
yeah.
territories.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, there's always a place for the digital. It's obviously we're progressing and everything's
Yeah.
moving that way, but I still love opening the package.
Oh, I love physical. Don't get me wrong.
If there's a booklet, I love reading the booklet,
That's it.
and I love coming down to my little lair
Yeah.
and selecting a movie.
There's something about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although I will say one thing is, if you're on iTunes US, that's because sometimes
Yep.
you can get an advanced copy
Sure.
of the film before it gets over here, and that's how I saw some films before they got released, like The Sacrament and stuff like that. Is it do like how the Netflix and the iTunes do have the original theatrical art and
Yes.
poster? It kind of feels like you're on a digital video
That's
store
true.
to
That's
a degree.
true. And
so I like that. I don't like the internet piracy. I
course,
don't think
of course.
that's great at all.
well, you and I work in within
Yeah.
movies, and that's obviously
Yeah.
something that affects us.
Yeah, absolutely. It
Absolutely.
kills the longevity of physical media in retail and rental, and it also it's killing careers out there. People
Absolutely.
that want to
Well,
work on
we'll
films,
definitely touch on that in
We do.
a future episode.
Yeah.
Like we might even do a whole episode. And,
I think we need to
Absolutely.
have a thorough discussion on that one.
Definitely, and there's a lot of opinions out there, and and the argument's two-sided. So
Absolutely.
anyway, look, let's wrap this baby up. This is our
Okay.
first episode. I think we've done fairly well.
Well, yeah, I feel like I sounded like I was on amphetamines. I was just trying to pump through as much stuff as I could.
All right, well, look, let's do a couple of quick plugs before we
Right.
wrap up. Like, I want to mention Optic Intake.
Yes.
Optic Intake's a brand new, they call it a fanzine. It's a magazine made by
It
fans.
looks great, though.
It is fantastic. The quality, the print,
the paper stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they've just done issue number 0 with
Right.
issue number 1 coming in October.
Okay.
So look up their website, subscribe to it, and purchase it. It's a fantastic magazine.
Yeah, it looks terrific.
I want to give a quick plug to the Valhalla Social Cinema too.
Yes, excellent.
Been mates with Jose, who runs that for a while. It is my favourite cult cinema. What do you call it? Screening community. you know?
It's so comfortable. Like
He
it's a
used- you know,
relaxed environment,
yeah,
comfy
he
chairs.
Sets it out in a warehouse in North Melbourne. Occasionally in summertime he does pop-up drive-ins.
Yeah, I
look,
want to do another one of those horror marathons.
oh, the marathons are
I really want
amazing,
another one of
fantastic.
those. About the
Inside.
only guy that'll ever screen Fred Decker in Melbourne.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
And-
Night of the Creeps on the big screen. I could die
Mate,
happy.
hey, Fred Decker's on our website. Interview with Fred
Yeah,
Decker.
what an interview too.
Absolutely. So look, check out the Valhalla Social Cinema if you've never heard of it. And finally, our own plug. We've got the
Yes.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space screening.
Yes.
That's coming up on November 3, which is Melbourne Cup Eve. So
Yes,
you've got
what a
no
night.
excuse. And it's also screening with a free encore screening of another film called 100 Tears, which is it's a clown-themed splatter film. So
Sounds
you
nasty.
come for the schlock and you stay for the splat. That's what
That's
I say.
great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's going to be some exclusive.
Oh, we've got
content
video
on that?
intros coming.
Excellent.
Grant Kramer, who starred in Killer Clowns, he's on camera talking to the audience.
That's awesome.
Hopefully, we'll have Stephen Chiodo, who directed it.
Terrific.
And definitely Marcus Koch, who made 100 Tears. So
Excellent,
we'll be
yeah.
giving out clown food upon entry. Every ticket goes into a raffle.
Does that mean
and
fairy floss or things like that?
it
or?
might do. It might
I
do.
don't like that.
And look, every ticket goes into a raffle and wins a prize at intermission. So definitely come along to our Killer Clown screening. 2 films for $16.
Excellent, and I'll be in the male bathrooms providing kissing booth. No, that's a lie.
What
I'm
the
married.
hell?
I'm married. No, I'm kidding. That's not going to be happening there.
In the mail, Lou.
Yeah, I was like, what am I hanging out in there for? That's a bad idea.
I'll be watching the movie, damn it.
Yeah. Sorry, this is just during intermission.
Come for the shot, stay for Jarret. Anyway, it's a pleasure to have you here, and we'll be back probably in 2 weeks' time for the second episode.
Yes.
Haven't decided on the frequency yet.
No.
It'll either be bi-weekly or monthly.
And next episode, I think we'll be discussing Weekend at Bernie's the original. No, I'm kidding.
Well, anyway, that's all we've got for now.
Excellent.
Thank you, Jarret.
Thank you, Glenn.
And thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Take it easy.